Okay, let's get started with this Frito pie. I've got my non-stick skillet out. I'm going to cook up some ground beef, about a pound and a quarter, maybe a little over. It's 1820 because you want the flavor. So we're going to get this cooked up. While I'm doing that, if you could please like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends and family all about us. Leave a comment if you can. I really appreciate it. And we're going to season it with some freshly ground black pepper and some salt. And I'm also going to hit it with some taco seasoning. Doesn't really matter. Your favorite is what you use. And we'll mix that all up. And once that cooks down, I'm going to get some of that excess grease out of there. So what I like to do is, instead of straining it and dirtying another dish, I just get a paper towel, fold it up a few times, toss it in there, and use that paper towel to suck up all the grease. A lot of people use a colander and strain it, but the way I look at it, it's just another dish to wash that I don't want to wash. So this way, it's nice, simple, does the job. So once we get all the grease strained out of there, we're going to transfer this meat to a large mixing bowl, and we'll set that to the side and let it start to cool a little bit. Next, we're going to get our 8x12 baking dish out, and we're going to put a stick of butter in there, and we're going to throw that in the oven at 300 degrees and let that butter melt down. And while that butter is melting, we're going to get our food processor out and some original Fritos. I think these are the scoops. So we're just going to fill the food processor up with some Fritos. I'll put the lid on it and grind them up nice and fine. Just like that. And I believe I did 2 batches because it's better to have extra than run out and have to start up again while you're in the middle of cooking. So I'll transfer that to another bowl. And then once the butter is all melted, we're going to start to spread the Fritos on top of that melted butter. And basically what we're making is a Frito crust for our pie. So once we get it all in there, we're going to use our spoon and kind of push it down nice and tight. Try to level it out as much as you can. Then we're going to pop that in the oven at 350 for 25 minutes. And that'll give us a nice Frito pie crust. Just like that. Okay, now we got to work on our filling. I've got 1 small white onion that I've diced up. I'm going to put that in the pan that we cooked our meat in and start to cook that down. I've also got a bell pepper. None of the green ones look very appealing today at the store, so I got a yellow one. But we're going to season our onions with salt and pepper, a little bit of olive oil. And then we're going to toss in our yellow bell pepper that we also diced up real nice. There we go. And we're going to cook these down for a few minutes. Next, we're going to add 1 8-ounce can of diced tomatoes. And we're going to cook these down on low, basically simmering until most of the moisture is gone. So while this sits and cooks down slowly, let's get our KitchenAid out. I've got the shredded cheese attachment on there. And I'm going to shred up some Monterey Jack cheese and some cheddar cheese. Always better to shred your own cheese and keep the chemicals out of your life. You buy shredded cheese in a bag, it's got that nasty chemical in there. We don't want that. So we did about 8 ounces of each, the Monterey Jack and the cheddar. We'll set that aside. Now our vegetables are done, so we're going to add that to our meat and give it a good mix. Next, we're going to add about a half a cup of enchilada sauce, red enchilada sauce. And then we'll start to add our Monterey Jack cheese. Reserve a little bit of that. And then we'll mix that up real good. Now we're going to add this mixture right on top of our Frito Pie crust that we made earlier. Just spread it out nice and even. And what I did is I took a potato masher to help me press it down nice and tight and even it out. As we go. And once we get this all leveled out and even, we're going to add our shredded cheddar cheese. But make sure that you reserve some of the cheddar cheese as well. Now the last thing we do after we put the cheese on top is we're going to put some more Fritos on top of the cheese. I decided to go with the flaming hot Cheetos on top because I like a little spice. If you don't want any spice, just go with the original, just like we did for the crust, for the top. It's up to you and how you can handle spices. So we'll spread the flaming hot on top. Spread them around. I'm going to get my little potato masher out again and just lightly press them down a little bit so everything's nice and tight. And then I'm going to put another layer of cheddar cheese right on top of these Fritos. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees. So once we get this last bit of cheese on top, this is why we reserved some of the cheese just for the topping. There we go, and then we'll pop this in the oven at 350 degrees. And once it comes out of the oven, you're going to want to let it set up for a few minutes before you cut into it. And then top it with a little bit of sour cream if you have it. And you've got a delicious Frito pie. Super easy to make. Kids are going to love it. Everybody's going to love it. It's delicious. And enjoy. Hey, thanks for watching. And we'll see you on the next video. Thank you.